To bring you to the moment, we've got our triple P90s. Routed out, marked, done, bridge, position sorted. We need to sort out this crazy neck joint. Welcome to Crimson Guitars, welcome to the culmination of about my entire life of planning. You will notice that I finally had enough and ripped the studio apart. And it's not done, not by a long shot. I had set up my perfect home workshop with everything available, etc. during COVID, and then left that there and moved back here, and I don't have half the tools I need. Couldn't find the ones that I did have, and everything I did was far too slow. Now, well, I've got no choice but to speed up. And in this episode, he says, after having spoken for over a minute, let's get to the point. In this episode, I'm going to be rather rapidly, because I've left this very late because this obviously took longer than it should have, I'm going to hand cut a Les Paul style tenon into this already together guitar neck. We're going to put the angle in, cut it, inlay it, and well, see if we can get this neck fitted by hand. This is not a job that I have done more than once, and I'm not even entirely sure I remember doing it then, so that should be fun. Come on then, let's build a guitar. Ignore that guy, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. What he just said doesn't actually happen. The video meanders and vices fall apart and things go well and wrong, and but essentially what he just said happens in the next episode. Still worth watching those, so you know, stick around. Now, before we get to that, in the last episode I inlaid this headstock veneer. It's going to be glued in, it's going to be routed flush. A lot of you asked why I didn't use a router plane, and the reason was that I'd actually here couldn't find the router plane that I thought I had. In the midst of doing this, I found it and it's just too small. I'm going to see if I can find something else. A router plane would do this job nicely if it was big enough to sit over all of the pieces, and for that reason I'm going to leave this for now. We'll do that next week. And I'm going to be finishing this guitar post-haste while also finishing the hand tool build, because I'm going to Glastonbury Festival, which is also very, very soon, and I want to have my hand tool only build with me at the festival, because that's the perfect excuse to finish it and just get over my hang-ups there. So we've got two things. We want to route out a tenon, essentially all the way through, and we're going to make this bit of the neck smaller, and that's fine, and it's going to go down into the pickup cavity, etc., and that's all well and good. Relatively easy stuff. The issue is that this neck also needs to be at, well, it needs to be at an angle. I already do have an angle cut into the back here, because this neck was made for an old kit that we used to make here at Crimson Guitars. So that might be right, it might not be, but I need to cut away a bunch of material here with a lip that then goes through to the right angle there, so that it fits onto the end of the guitar body, and it's a relatively complex joint. Now, in a recent video, link in the description below I suppose, I contested that Gibson are currently building their guitars wrong, because they say, hey, we believe in history, etc., that's why they don't do volutes and all that jazz. I think that the way that they originally built Les Paul type instruments and instruments with this joint is that they would do all of this work, all of those angles and all of the fitting before the fretboard went on. And that's not how they do it nowadays, because that would be the easy way to do it. Just cutting out a notch getting it at the right angle on a machine or a router or a jig or something like that. That's the way. This is the way. We're going to be doing a ask about face. The angle, 2.5 degrees, 3 degrees, 2 degrees, somewhere in that range will be fine. I am going to go 2.5 degrees. And I'm not going to be using a jig. There are jigs where you can clamp your neck into a bit of wood that's on a hinge, and then you slowly screw it out and get your angle, and then you can use that to scribe the lines exactly where you need to do it. Yeah, that was a back angle. A forwards angle, that was the wrong angle, let's just put it that way. In this case, I'm just going to do it by hand. A good mechanical pencil, good measurements, and some chisel work, and we should be fine. I don't know why I don't do things the easy way. We all know why I don't do things the easy way, because that would pretty much be boring. Anyhow, angle, Crimson Guitars protractor, and a bevel gauge, and that's all I really need. So let's have a look. So on 0, there, and then we find our 2.5 degree. This is fiddly when you're trying to film yourself, my gosh. And the protractor keeps on slipping into the slot, which is just making everything, really not straightforward. I'm sure you guys can figure out how to do this yourself. It's not rocket science. And there we go. 2.5 degree back angle. And some awkward filming. I'd forgotten that I've got this angle already here. So everything actually needs to be worked off from the top of the fretboard, which is awkward. They are level, it's fine. It's close enough for jazz, as they say. This is one of those things that people absolutely agonize over, and I used to agonize over the working out of the break angle, etc. And it's not that much of a worry. I'm going to do this, I'm going to fit it. If I need to adjust it a little bit back because of the size of the, because of the height of, because it's not quite working, then I will do so. But at 2.5 degrees, give or take, will be fine with a standard tune-o-matic bridge. The way to do it is to physically draw a drawing life-size with the strings, with the top of your fretboard, the top of your frets, etc. Put your bridge in at the end of the strings, because hey, that's a nice straight line, and then work out where the top of the body needs to be, and that will give you your angle, whether it's 2 degrees or 5, which it won't be. I've been thinking about shelves all week. This is this is a nice break. I already have an angle here. I want to see what that angle is. It looks more like, well, it looks more than 2.5 degrees to me. So yeah, let's work that out first. And I can work everything else out based on that, because the reality is this here, that is the angle that I need to put in to my neck, essentially. I need to follow that line in, and then the whole guitar, the neck is just going to slide on down. So let's see where we're at. That's that. Wow. So my fretboard is the flat bit. Why does that feel so weird being upside down? Okay. And essentially lining it up with the fretboard there, you can see the break angle. And that's actually, well, it might be closer to 2 degrees or so. Not entirely sure. Let's get some light on. I've got, aha, I know what to do. Yep, I really am a fool, sorry. Not thinking straight at the moment. Let's follow the line of the fretboard down. So that's on 0 at the point where my original line met. And up here, it is 1, 2, 2.5 degrees. Oh, damn. Yeah, that's exactly what I was after. 0, half a degree, 1, 2, 2.5 degrees. It is exactly 2.5 degrees, which is exactly what I said I wanted to get to, and it's already there. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Okay, the next stage is to figure out exactly where I actually want to be. This line is the line that we marked out earlier in the build as the end of our fretboard. That there. That's the end of my fretboard line, and that now confusingly located pencil line is the end of my neck. It does occur to me that the end of my neck there isn't necessarily square and straight, so let's sort that out first. Everything else is going to be based on that line. And I recall just ramming it up against a sander without much care, just to clean it up. I was not going for precision engineering, which is evidenced by the fact that it's rocking all over the place. Processes, people. Figure out where to start, where you want to end up, and what the most efficient means and method to get there is. I don't often use marking knives, and the reason I'm using this is because I've lost my scalpel blade in the move. But actually this is yeah, pretty cool. I might use this more often. I like tools. It's a problem. Alright, so in the background is Monty. Monty, say hi.
Hi there.
You guys are going to... which camera is it? I think it's that one there. You're going to see a lot of him moving forward. Yeah, so Monty's helping to finish this. I need to... No, I remember what I was talking about now here. I need to now transfer that line down the side of the guitar. And I should probably be doing this from the rear actually, because I haven't messed with that face. So let's do it properly, shall we? And then transfer onto the back. Awesome. I haven't got my machine shop yet fully set up for cameras and all that jazz. But also I don't have a disc sander set up in there at the moment, and the easiest thing would be to present this to a well set up disc sander and get the angle right. I'm going to do it the hard way, and I'm going to put this in a vise, and using a file and leveling beams or rasps, that sort of thing, I'm going to ease up on a perfect right angle. These are some leather things that we started making here as an experiment. Would you like to see them as a Crimson product? Let us know. Useful for this sort of job, that's for damn sure. Hi. I'm not sure how far along this process we're going to get. For all of you people out there going, oh my gosh, that's a cool vise, and a bunch of you have already commented that. It is. It's a modern version of a pattern maker's vise. You can get them from Workshop Heaven in the UK, I think. That's where I got this beastie. Not sponsored, just cool company. While I was trying to film that shot, it fell apart on me. Yeah, this is turning into a story of how one luthier in a half-built workshop tried to film a video and managed to explain some stuff, but might not actually manage to get much actual work done. There's a... Woo! Hey! Oh, that was easier. Cool. Now, there's that. So yeah, it is a cool vise, but with the added complexity of 14 million different things going on, well, you've got the added complexity of 14 million things going on, don't you? For your self-edification, etc. We've got the whole vise rotates multiple different ways. It's got 2 different locks. You can go all the way around like that. So you've got an engineer's vise on there. That's the normal motion. You've got built-in little dogs, and with this here you can change the angle of the jaws themselves. If you've got, well, you can see there. See? Which is quite cool. And of course, you can also does that as well. So yeah, very, very flexible vise. Now, what I was trying to say was, when you're filing, when you're trying to do a job like this, it genuinely helps to have what you are filing parallel to the ground. That's what your body, that's what your system feels best with. So let's try and make that happen. Why did I even flip it around in the first place? I didn't mean to. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Lock her off. Now, off camera, I'm going to do this because that's a nasty noise. If you ever wonder if I care about you, here is your answer. Yes, I do. Maybe a rasp will be quieter. Ooh. That beastie's a bit coarse. Just to show you what I'm doing before I cut off camera, go down to the line that you've marked on one side at an angle, pulling back, and then flip everything around, do it from the other side, do it from this side as well, with a much, much finer tool. And then I'm going to have this basic pyramid that you then flatten off. And yeah, I could use chisels and the like with wood this soft as well, which I probably will. So I'll get roughly flat and move on. That's the tool! Ha-ha! Okay, Iwasaki. That's a small one. We've got a new Iwasaki file. Hold on. We've got flat and half round warding files from Iwasaki that these things stop then. These things are fantastic cutting with the grain. I absolutely love them. Stop then. Yeah, done. It only seems to squeak when I'm actually filming. I'm just genuinely going to stop trying to get some pretty shots here, and we'll be back in the future, yeah? Without actually making any movements, you can see I've got a bevel there, I've got a bevel there, I've got a bevel there, bevel there. I'm just slowly, gently taking it down. And I realised that the vise wasn't closed squarely on here, which is why it was making quite so much noise. Obviously lower down. See? Oh, look at that. It stayed quiet. This is the long way to do it. But the alternative is also, of course, a small hand plane. Now, planing on end grain, this is turning into a video where I'm not going to actually finish what I hoped to finish, not even close, but it still can be interesting, and I apologize for making this into a two-parter. With a good hand plane with a nice tight mouth, which this isn't, this is a Lee Nielsen block plane, so the mouth is actually not that great. Seriously, have a look. Camera 2, where are you? So on my Quangshan, which is at home, the mouth is absolutely tight, which means that as you get a finer cut, basically. Nice plane otherwise. Saying there is a trick to planing end grain. first of all, have a great plane and have it very sharp, which this isn't and this isn't, and then wet the wood, wet the end grain, and it works like a dream. Or you can get an adjustable mouth block plane. Yeah, let's do that actually, shall we? So. That's what you want. Before we put the water on, this is the issue. So you want to adjust the plane so it's not taking very much of a cut at all. Close the mouth up as much as it can go. Now the fact that I've got bevels on the outside mean that I'm not likely to rip any material away, any chips away from the outside edge. But it's not doing a particularly good job. If you damp down the grain, it starts to cut like butter. Now the wood, this is only in the surface layer of the wood. It will dry pretty rapidly. In fact, it's starting to dry already, you can see. But even without sharpening my plane, I'm now getting beautiful, easy shavings. And it's nice and flat. And in fact, I'm going to finish it using this technique because this is far more fun and more accurate too. Nice. Excellent. Take it up, check with the square. I think I'm done. Yeah. I'm a fraction off, so back in the vise, just a little bit of work, and I'm talking 0.2 of a millimeter, something like that. In fact, I'm gonna check with a different square and see. Yeah, I'm 0.2 of a mil off. So yeah, let's sort that out. This is what I want to be doing. Building guitars, filming, making videos, making sawdust. This defines me. All of the other stuff that I have to do in order to facilitate Crimson Guitars and all of this nonsense is worth it when I get to spend a day in the workshop making guitars. Definitely worth it when I can find the tools I need, which is the next stage of this. So yeah, thank you for watching and making this a viable thing. Genuinely, I appreciate you. Thank you. You see, that section's already dried. I'm being very careful because that does stick up over there. I was going to say easy peasy, but yeah, onwards. Okay, so with that prepared, obviously, we're not going to be able to do this. It is 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, and this video is supposed to be going out this weekend, and I haven't put anything buildy out this whole week because of the day's job turned into 3 or 4. But I have gone and found a little hand router that was in the school, and well, I'm gonna do the headstock. I'm gonna see what it needs to be done to flatten the inside of this, and we're gonna glue that veneer in and call it a day. Progress has been made. just not the progress we wanted. It was the progress we deserved. So this is a tiny little user-made router plane. Came in through vintagetoolshop.com, and I ended up giving it to Sean to use in the Crimson Guitar School of Luthier, where it is useful. But that's it, simple. And luckily, it's sharp. That is not going to, because of this, reach all the way in, but I'll be able to flatten most. Push it down flush with what I've currently got, and then just lightly tap it. Oh. That might do. You cross-grain bar. I'm only removing material from the middle, and it is doing what I want it to do. Now, can you see how much less control I have over this than what I was doing with the chisel last week? With the chisels, I genuinely am so much more comfortable. Even though this is now blunt. So, anyway, we've taken the center out. That's looking good. Before I glue this veneer in last week, I was talking about potentially cutting out the logo through the entire thing and then gluing it down, and then afterwards going through and inlaying the inlaying solder or something like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you a completely different thing that is actually far more useful to the average human guitar builder, and that is, well, I recently picked up a vinyl plotter machine because I thought it could be fun, and it genuinely is. So we're applying a lacquer. I'll use that to put the logo on afterwards. The reason being, I do want enough glue to be on in here, and if I have that, then I'm going to have to cut glue out. And the other thing is cutting through something this thick and then having to plane it or sand it or carve it down. I would, with this material, end up breaking bits of wood and stuff. Okay, well, there we go. I think that is done. I'm very, very happy. We at least made some forward momentum on this build. The next time you see this workshop, it's going to be far better, and a lot of tools that have been in boxes or drawers or out of the way and lost will be readily available. I follow Adam Savage's first order retrieval principle. If you need to get something, you don't want anything else in between you and what you need. In this case, it is, you know, piles of tools or mess or lack of space. But anyway, thank you for watching. Click like, subscribe if you liked it, and if you've not yet subscribed, and let me know what you think of the build, the process, the workshop, etc. Yeah, there's going to be some changes on the Crimson channel moving forward. Less shorts, more builds, fun stuff. Yeah, see you soon. Can't believe we're wearing shorts, Sam. I mean, just seriously. I just said it, less shorts. Say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. We've had enough now. This workshop, we just want this done so we can get on with real work. See you soon. Bye.